Afternoon. Hope you're doing well. Market's been closed here for about 5 minutes. All right, so we'll be taking a look at the closing price and reviewing today's price action. Let's go ahead and get started. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for September 27th, 2022. Qs basically flat on the day after gapping up initially. SPY, however, down about 0.25%. After also gapping up initially. Very, very choppy, sloppy price action today. We are still basing towards the bottom. Yesterday, we got that attempt at a bounce and ended up back at the lows. Again, same thing today. So you can see there have been some attempts to try and put in some support to find some ground, but the market is remaining overall weak. Okay, and we came into today bearish. We really don't have much here to go off of to say, okay, at this point we were going to be bullish. Over the double top that we have here, over this sloppy base, temporarily we would not be bearish. You can shift to neutral. And the thing that we'd be looking at is really the next daily sell setup as another opportunity to short, right? So we have this base that is useful, and that if we move up, I think we'll get, depending on when we do it, we can be looking to get back to maybe the 20 MA. Okay, I wouldn't be surprised if because of the bearishness, we don't even make it that far, but we'll be watching for the daily sell setup if the hourly starts to turn up here. Okay, so just keeping in mind here, overall context remains bearish. Okay, really, there's not really that much to add. Yesterday, we talked about a attempt at a bounce that couldn't follow through, and today we got the same thing. Really could have, taken a lot of what we said yesterday and applied it to today. Okay, and for the Qs, has not really done much to change the range here. Okay, all right. Let's get into the plays from today. Now, the SLQT was really good yesterday. And then today, once it made this drop here, so you can see, acting like it did yesterday, once it made this drop here, it got pretty difficult. So was able to get some in this space, but then when it dropped, I got shaken out, and then I tried to flip it because it looked like it was going to pop back up. We got the volume kind of to flip the level 2, but then it had one more drop in it, and then was able to get the reversal there because again, level 2 looked like it was reversing, offer was weakening, bid was strengthening up, so I did jump in. But once it made this move, it became so much harder to trade. I think some people still kind of found little pockets here and there. You can see there's a nice tight base. But overall, just the spread, just so different from yesterday. So I don't know, exactly why or, what happened on that drop. But you can see, look at the difference. This was yesterday, right? Base, 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 clean all the way to the end of the day. Very nice and clean here. And just today, totally different. That's fine. Once you identify that, it's fine. Stay away or, be picky about kind of where you find these opportunities on it. But I just noticed the spread opened up. And look at how nice it was yesterday and then today, right? Much sloppier, much whippier. Now, I thought overall on what was out there, that was the case. The next play, which was really nice mention from James on the VLTA. Unfortunately not available for me. And even right here, when I was doing this sell setup and looked really good on level 2, I said, this is probably the best play out there, but I can't play it. And so that was a nice short there on the VLTA. So not available for me to short, but eventually I did set up as a long. So level 2 bid got strong, offer started to weaken. So that ended up being actually pretty nice. That was a good heads up from Sammy, because I had actually taken this off my chart. A little bit annoyed, that kind of the play today, at least the play of the morning, I didn't have available. So it was like, no point in watching it. Just it's gonna annoy myself. But good thing Sammy mentioned it was looking good, had the base, and then started to strengthen up on the bid. That it was actually okay as a long. So glad I was able to catch that, and good heads up, of course, from Sammy. But those were the things that at least were okay at one point or another. Amps would have been nice, but didn't quite set up the way I wanted to. Just what an impressive daily. You look at the market daily and you look at this and you say, okay, there's something up with this. This is really, really impressively bullish. Okay. So, just didn't quite get the setup that I wanted. I wanted to see something more of a base up here at the highs. I thought this pullback was okay. But even then would have wanted a secondary entry. So another move up and then a pause. So this one was a little bit hard to catch. But I saw a lot of really difficult stuff. Okay, look at this in OMD. This kind of stuff is, it's out there and there's quite a bit of it. So you need to be careful is what I'm trying to say. Stuff just kind of making moves and being really choppy and wild. You see this was basing at the lows. Okay, got that little bit of a bounce there. But a lot of tricky, sloppy stuff. I thought this was a nice, potentially a good setup. But again, you see the big bottoming tail. That was the pullback I was looking at. Big pop. And then also drop right back down to where the pop came from. So make sure that when you are considering a play, I think right now, looking at the spread, looking at the chart, avoiding anything that's not clean, that's kind of whippy, is more important than ever. Okay, so a lot of choppy stuff out there, a lot of whippy stuff. So time to be selective. It is that time of the year normally where it is time to be selective, but this is kind of, at least from what I'm seeing, a little bit different, just because normally this time of year there's like not good gaps maybe, or things are still at support or resistance and they're setting up, but they're not really cleared for decent targets. In this case, it's more just reversals happening kind of seemingly out of nowhere, just very volatile stuff. Okay, so the important thing here is really to manage risk, and I think it's as important as ever in this environment. All right, but hope you had a good day, or at least stayed out of trouble. All right, we'll be back at it tomorrow. Of course, bearish bias remains heading into tomorrow. Okay, we'll see what the market has in store. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good evening.